The Skillsmindset podcast brings you more than just information and knowledge. We are here to help you discover yourself and maximize your potential through effective use of your skill set, information, and experience. It is about you evolving into a future that is visible, achievable, and rewarding. You are unique, and the message in this episode is for you. So take that step forward with us and let us get down to business. Welcome to the Skillsmindset podcast. I'm your host, Gbenga Lawal, author of This Space, Your Place. Dive in with us into Power Mind Results as we'll explore talent, skill set, and experience. If you're ready for a giant leap into success accomplishments, this is the space. This is your place. Get ready and let's get started. I am your host, Gbenga Lawal, and today we are going to discuss a topic that affects many of us: worrying. How can you cope with worrying and make positive changes in your life? That's what we are going to explore in this episode. Worrying appears to be a natural and normal human emotion, but sometimes it can get out of hand and interfere with your well-being, productivity, and relationships. Joining me today is Dr. Joe Benjamin, a writer, author, and publisher, the CEO and founder of Opulent Press, the voice behind the Joe Benjamin podcast. Dr. Joe, you are welcome.
Hey, thank you very much, my friend, for this warm invitation today. I count it a great honor to be with you on the Skillsmindset podcast. And before I even go any further, let me just say congratulations for this amazing platform that you've created that I know is going to be changing lives and making positive difference to people around the world. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much for that. That was nice of you. And thank you because, I can tell about the journey, but this is not what we are doing today. And you're part of the story. So we're here together. Incidentally, you'll be the first guest on this.
That's a great honor. Thank you.
So you got the space.
Thank you for risking it on me.
Yes, it's a risk worth taking, and I know that the outcome is already great. So we are in for a good time, and we are in for a nice time. We want our audience, people to really enjoy the benefit, the wealth of your experience and knowledge, and what you do to get people on their feet and show up in their situation. And that's why I have no hesitation to bring you on this podcast today and to share, your experiences and then, of course, your take on this topic, very concerning topic, worrying. And that's what we want to do. And firstly, what is worrying? What does it mean to you?
Well, worry is a very big subject, and I guess the word worry, because such a big word, many times it's been misinterpreted by different people to mean one thing or the other. But basically, I think worry for me talks about just a mental fixation on negative situations or maybe negative outcomes. So it's mostly that your mind is stuck in a negative cycle of thinking about the worst of any case scenario that you have, and of course, I believe worry is also it's an emotional state as well.
Yeah, thank you. I get that, and I know because I was thinking about this, and I thought, is there anything good about worrying? I have a different, another perspective to it, because I understand clearly that worrying is a form of thinking that involves some kind of, negative and unpleasant, expected outcomes, scenarios that you don't even, it hasn't happened, but you are already concerned about what could possibly happen, that may not even happen, often related to the future and things that are uncertain, or that are out of control, if you like. So, but I understand that sometimes it's not really entirely bad to worry about things. In other words, to think about it, because worrying at that point will make you to think about what is going on. the expected outcomes and possibly what you can do about it. In other words, worry could be a prompt to taking some actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, worry in itself is not a bad thing if we separate it. Of course, there's deeper problems with people that have chronic worry and perhaps maybe even the effects of that. But as you're saying, I strongly believe that worry in itself is not a problem. Worry is an indicator that there's a problem that needs a solution of some sort. Give you a quick example. I am going to be traveling. I'm going to be traveling very soon, next week. I'm going to be traveling abroad. And I was, all of a sudden, I got a little bit anxious and again worried. Right? I worried about, I'm traveling next week, but my wife usually does all the sorting out. So many times I don't worry because she sorts everything out, the flights, the bookings and everything.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I started to think, which day am I actually leaving and what time are we leaving? So I all of a sudden got a little anxious or worried about it, right? And then I just sent a text message to my wife. I said, hey babe, can you please send me the flight schedule? I want to know exactly the time that we're leaving so I can plan my day. And the moment that text message came, guess what? I stopped worrying straight away. So I'm just kind of proving the point that worry is not bad in itself, but it's a trigger that something needs to happen.
Exactly. I also, yes, I understand that. And I think I share that experience that you have had. And now I know, to be honest, that every time one is particularly concerned or thinking about something, to take worrying as a positive, impetus for your action is to actually put it in a situation whereby it becomes useful, to function, to helping you prepare for potential problems. For instance, you want to travel, you are thinking that, do I have my passport? Has it expired or it's not it's not expired? Because I've got a friend who wanted to travel, that it was at the airport that he realized that he couldn't travel because his passport was 2 months to expiring. And by law, he has to be 3 months before he can travel. So he was turned back all the way, to the airport. And that could be a moment where disappointment, frustration, you can tell what will be going on. So I think when you worry about some things and you are able to take it as a positive, impetus to take action, to prepare, I think that becomes very important and very useful. Absolutely. But when worrying becomes so excessive, it becomes chronic and irrational, then it could lead to anxiety, stress and depression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think when you over worry, when, as you're mentioning, chronic worry and excessive worry, then we start getting health concerns and issues because you can literally feel physically sick from worry because what your mind does, it starts to see all these negative case scenarios, the worst case scenario of anything, and it just makes you feel so ill at ease. So finding the reason, and one of the practices that I've done, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about this in my book that is coming out soon called The Work Inside, coming out next year, on one of the practices that I did that really helped me with worry and overthinking, because worry could also be overthinking, and you might even agree with me, sir, that as a visionary, as a high impact person, we
that's every tendency to
exactly, you're overwhelmed with ideas and your zest for life, and you've got so much things you want to achieve, and you could overthink yourself to a point of worry. So here's what I started to do. I would wake up in the morning, and I still do, and I found that practice helping me throughout. And when I wake up, first thing in the morning, before I start going on social media, getting into my office to do my work, all of these things, I would sit down, put my thoughts together, and begin to journal, to write down my feelings. So if I feel a bit anxious or a bit worried, I'll be like, why am I actually worried about this? See? Yeah, so
Exactly.
for example, I've got a class that's coming soon, and I wake up in the morning, I'm worried. Oh, I've got a class tonight, and I think, why am I
Yeah.
worrying about this? You see, so before you worry and not even take time to deal with that, to pay attention to it, because worry is an itch; it needs to be scratched.
Exactly.
So I'll think, okay,
Exactly.
what am I worrying about this? What do I need to do to stop me worrying? So, for example, if I've got a class, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm worrying because my PowerPoint isn't ready yet, right? Or maybe I'm
Yeah.
worrying, who's going to show up? Or am I going to convert my numbers? How are my
Yeah.
numbers going to be? But then I think, okay, should I really be worrying about this? You know, how can I turn my worry into some sort of gratitude or something of that nature? So
It's
just question your
Exactly.
worry whenever your worry comes to you. Don't just let it run over you like a truck that's just running over potholes. Stop it and question
yeah.
yourself. Why am I worrying about this?
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, I can share my experience. One of the experience. Well, it's usual of me, and I'm not sure if it's ever gonna go away, and I'm not sure whether it is normal or with people or it's just me. I always get to that state where things will always get to me, and I'll be thinking about it. But one moment, I will just be conscious of myself, and I say, "Why are you bothered? Why are you worried?" You're expecting an outcome, you're expecting an announcement, and that's not come yet, and you're already
Right.
thinking
You're
as
living
if
in the
it
future.
has come and it's not in your favor. You're already living in a situation where
Right.
it has never happened, and then you get headache, you get some kind of
Palpitations,
tension
high
in your,
blood
in your
pressure,
muscles,
everything.
you get stomach problems, you run
Yeah.
to toilets, you are sad, you are angry, you are feeling guilty, as if you have done something wrong. That, as a result of your previous action, that's why you are likely going to get a very negative
Exactly.
outcomes or results, which nobody has ever pronounced anything. And then you are already concerned. So the moment I get conscious of myself, I just said, you know what? Why should I die before my
That
death?
is it. That is it.
It hasn't
I'll die
happened.
once.
So why can't I just wait? And I tell you this, more often than not, 100%, it has always been, you shouldn't have to worry anyway, because it's never going to go that way. And it's never been that way.
Absolutely.
It's never gone that way in terms of negativity
Yeah.
and all that. No, it's always coming back to say, can you see now? Good news every time. So it's always like that. And I think when we worry too much, we may experience, like you said,
Yeah,
physical
physical,
symptoms of
literally.
headache, muscle tension and the stomach pain.
Yeah.
So
And
problems.
also, you know what?
Sometimes it affects our
It does.
behaviors, isn't it? Procrastination, doing things as if it's compulsory, that not that we really wanted
Absolutely.
to do it, and sometimes we avoid doing things. Yes, you wanted to share.
Yeah, you were mentioning about worry and thinking about negative things. Actually, one of the reasons why bad things happen to most of us is because we worry about them and we see them happening. We see the bad happening before we see the good. So we're literally attracting
Wow.
that negativity and the bad into our lives without knowing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I tell people, I say, why is it that nobody taught you how to get worried, but you will have to be taught on how to fix it?
Right, absolutely.
So, do you understand that? Because nobody will tell you to start worrying about negativity, but to turn it around to be positive, you need some kind of coaching. And that is not natural. That means to be positive is not
That's
really
right.
natural. To be optimistic is not always given. But to be negative and to be pessimistic, I think it's everywhere
That's
in
right.
the atmosphere. People can just pick it up and begin to be scared of what?
Scared of
Nothing.
what?
They don't even know.
Yeah, that's why questioning it and breaking it down.
know?
Why am I worrying about this? Okay,
Exactly.
and what's the worst case scenario? Okay, and breaking it down. And like you're saying, we have to teach ourselves and learn the art of thinking a lot about what we actually want to happen, the positive outcomes, not what we don't want. Because having these detailed fantasies of worst case scenarios, thinking about the downside, can actually bring you down before you are down.
Yeah.
It can kill you before you die.
Exactly.
So we have to learn, because I think the worry happens almost naturally, but we now have to learn to be positive, learn to be motivated, learn to have the best thing that can happen in mind, and that can really wipe away worry. I always say this: why worry when you can pray? You have to pick a side. You're either praying for it, or you are worrying for it,
or do something about it,
or you are either hoping the best for it, or you are worrying about it. You can't have both. You've got to pick a side, right?
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. And that's why I like what you said, that one needs to assess, just to assess your worrying, and by asking yourself questions. Is this realistic or exaggerated? Is it helpful or harmful? If I'm worrying and I'm getting a headache, I'm getting sick,
is it worth
it's not helpful. It's not gonna take away the reason why I'm worrying, and it's not also gonna fix my health that it's been damaged by the fact that I'm worrying. Is it helpful or harmful? And that's what is very important. So to be worrying is not entirely bad. Or what do I put it? But to do something, not to do something about it is what is making it bad. Because if you can do something about it, then that means that you can fix something. Do what you can do, and I think leave what you can't do alone, and it will take charge of itself rather than killing yourself before the death comes around. Just like you said, that's very true.
In another way,
that's very true.
Is to actually change the wording or the way you look at worry. Rather than call it worry, maybe call it problem solving, because if there's a worry, there is an issue that needs to be looked at. And there's an amazing author who came up with this concept, and I haven't tried it myself, but I know it might help somebody, who said that if you find yourself like as a compulsive worrier, rather than allowing worry to run rampant throughout the day in your life, find a time in the day that you call your worry hour. So, for example, if you're worried about your finances or worried about your relationships, constantly, she proposes that, say, okay, if the worry comes, no, I'm going to have my worry hour at between 3 and 4 p.m. So for now, I'm not going to worry. At 3 to 4 p.m. is my worry hour, all right?
I like that.
But I like to call it maybe problem-solving hour, right? Where you sit down and you worry as much as you want, allow that, have a good go. And once you've done, you say, okay, I'm done, no more worry, I've solved my problems, I'm moving forward. So these are some of the things that your listeners here on the Skills Mindset can try and implement as well.
Yeah, for me, to be honest, that's fine, and that's a very good, timed out, your diary for the day. Just find a time to schedule that hour for you to worry about everything, and once that hour expires,
move on to something else,
and then you don't.
And this is the thing about worry, right?
For me,
there's always something to worry about.
Oh, exactly. I was going to say that if I'm thinking about that hour, it's in itself worrying.
Right.
So, 12 o'clock, I'm going to be worrying now.
It.
I'm going to be worrying at 1 o'clock.
That is it. So,
but it's funny,
absolutely.
But having said that, there is so much to be done to stop worrying, isn't it, Doctor? There's so much to be done to stop worrying, so much that you can start making positive changes in your life. For me, I try to accept uncertainty. There are so many uncertainty. In other words, there are so many things we wouldn't know until when it happens. Okay, and I don't have to worry myself of things I don't know that nobody knows. I mean, I was talking to somebody before, and I said, you are thinking about tomorrow that you can't even ask anybody how tomorrow is going to look like, because nobody has ever lived tomorrow before, so they don't have the experience.
Nobody has gone there. Nobody knows what's happening tomorrow
because we've never been there. Exactly. So why do you have to worry yourself? Why don't you enjoy the moment and plan? You can only prepare for tomorrow. You can't worry about it. For the fact that you are thinking about it means that you got the opportunity today to prepare for tomorrow. For example, I tell somebody, I said, it is certain that death will happen. But the consequences that comes with death, it's uncertain. We don't know the losses. So the best thing you can do
prepare
is
for
to
it.
prepare for such
Prepare
a
for
time
it.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, just
Make sure you have
prepare
your
for it.
policies in
then
place
to
and
those
everything in place.
Exactly. To those whose your
That's
death
right.
will affect, your loved ones. Prepare. That's all you can do. You can't just be worrying about things that will certain and things that are uncertain. Watch. If it is certain,
is it.
deal with it. If it is uncertain, you don't have to worry because it's uncertain, and then you deal with it as it comes.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? And I think that will help people to be in a kind of a mindset to help you so that you can keep progressing in life. Otherwise, if you stay in that zone of worrying, you may be procrastinating a lot. You may avoid doing things that you need to do. You may stop making and taking momentum in your.
It affects
in your-
everything.
Your personal life and business endeavors.
It affects
a
everything.
lot of things, and it damages your health. You put pressure on your loved ones. People are concerned about you. And I think sometimes it got to a point so deep that some people, I was listening to somebody telling me that, because of what happened in the family, this guy attempted suicide twice, all because he was worrying about what is the impact of what he has done will make, will be to the family and the reproach to the family. And I said,
but now the suicide is worse. It's worse than
way
that.
you think at it. Suicide is worse because we are not even helping the people. You see, you are gone, but the consequences of what you have done and the stigma there is linger with the people. Think about them rather than thinking about you as well. I think one can look at it as sometimes it could be selfish in nature as well.
You'll be thinking just about yourself and not everybody else. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Not everybody else.
And another thing that I think is got to be said as well is just taking care of yourself, self-care, because many times we are busy working, you get stressed with work, or responsibility, the day-to-day life, the financial crisis that's going around the world right now, all of these things you worry about it. So what I say, and this is the concept of the work inside, that if your inside is strong, is taken care of, the outside can face anything. You see, so how then do I strengthen my inside? By self-care. Whatever you need to do, is it exercise, eating healthy, good sleep, just making sure that the vessel is taken care of. It really helps when those attacks and those pressures come, so that you can stand strong and you won't go down with the worry and the stress and the anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's also I can see it. In addition to what you've said, that is more of what we personally inflict on ourselves. Because again, maybe you are trying to compare yourself with others. Maybe you are trying to emulate others, and you are thinking you are not good enough, or you're looking at other people's lane, how they are running their race,
comparison.
And you think you are not fast enough, and that gives a problem, mental, problem. So until when you are able to, mentally reorientate yourself, you will be lost in that mix, because again, you will always be having, negative thoughts, isn't it? That, how am I going to be better? I'm not good enough. I'm always failing. I'm bad at doing anything. I'm not good at anything. People will be judging me. And and those things are not what people are doing. You just decide to do all those things. You self-inflict those things on yourself.
Your mind makes up all these things. That's why your mental health has got to be take care of your mental health, whatever you do, because everything runs from the cogs of the mind. So it's very, very important. Many people go to take care of their mental health when there's a problem, when it's broken. Yet you're supposed to prevent the breakdown, prevent the problems before they even happen, so that you don't get to that place at all.
That's very true. That's very true. And then one practical thing also one can do is to find a place to relax. I know you were talking about somebody fixing a time or arranging a time of his schedules to take time to meditate or relax or think. But I think it's also good for one to know how to find a place to relax in the midst of worrying. just
Yeah.
rest.
Rest your mind.
Breathe deeply, meditate. Go to some quiet, nice, cool area and just relax and talk to yourself. I think it helps.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I take a long walk, a very long walk, and I'm putting all my worries on my feet.
Yes.
If you go on my
You're
steps,
releasing
I'm
them.
just banging
You're
my feet
releasing
on
them
the
out.
and I'm walking. Yes, I'm walking, and by the time I take some 1 hour long walk, I tell you, I feel relieved and I can think properly, because it won't allow you, worrying won't allow you to think properly, and it won't allow you to come to a point of getting the right solutions to the situation that you are worrying
Absolutely.
about. So it's very important.
Absolutely.
So there's a need to take action, isn't it? To take charge of that. Do we take responsibility for being worrying, and what do we have to do to?
Absolutely. I believe that worry,
come out of it.
you actually deal with worry through action, not just leaving it, because if you leave it, it'll run rampant. But if you take some action, if you prepare, if you deal with it, I believe that's the best way you can deal with any mental worries in your life, because if you leave it, it'll just grow, and extend into those physical symptoms that we're talking about. And I believe everybody has the power to change their life, to change the way they think. And here's something that is very key that I'd like somebody to get today, that you are not your mind. You see, many people think a certain way. When they think a certain way, they think that is really what they are. So for example, if I feel like, oh, my business is not doing very well, I'm failing in my business, and there's a thought that's in your mind, right? Then you start thinking that you are a failure, or you are the failure. But actually, you are not your mind. Your mind is just the engine that processes the things around you. And if we are able to separate your mind,
what is real,
exactly,
what is not
and
real,
who you are, then you'll be able to separate the worry from, little things that just need fixing and real problems in your life.
That's powerful. So one can definitely reduce worrying or increase their sense of accomplishment and satisfaction if they start taking actions. Okay,
take action.
Taking action. And about seeking support. I think some people, because some people are really fragile, really, in terms of their emotions, and I can tell that we are not the same in terms of mental state. Some are really fragile, but I think in that wise, one can start looking for, support. Somebody you can talk to, somebody who can, you can share your concern, and then they can give you experiences or professionals or
absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with professional support. In some cultures and societies, some people find professional help like therapists and people that help with mental health as some sort of a stigma. But I say there's no shame in getting a therapist, professional guidance from somebody that really knows how the mind works and that can walk you through that journey. So if you find that you're failing to break through with these other things that we've mentioned here, by all means, seek the help of a professional so that you can get the help and change your life going forward. Yeah.
Exactly. So by seeking support, you can reduce your worrying and increase your sense of connection and belonging as well. You can feel fit and ready to go another step. I think it's very good, because I've seen that worrying now is intending to stop us from movement, from achieving our outcomes.
Well, it's like a barrier, right?
To delay us. Exactly. So we've got to intentionally break the barrier or the backbone of worrying and progress in life. It doesn't matter what we worry about. People will always have things to worry about. And I tell, there's no greatest person you ever seen that has not something that is worrying about. But how you respond to that, how you deal with it, is what makes the difference. we all have something that we are concerned, we're worrying about, but
Absolutely.
deal with it, and then the difference will
and
come.
and we all worry. I like what you're saying. Everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, how rich you are, how healthy you are, how where you live, what country. Everybody will have some sort of worry or sort of concern. At the level that they, we've heard about millionaires, committing suicide, in a big mansion, and you think, my goodness, what was the problem? You've got everything that you need in the physical, when we talk of material and things, but then you still struggle because mental health is real, because everybody worries. So it's all about how can I take action on the worry that I have before it snowballs into something that is out of your control.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much for that, Dr. Joe. That's powerful.
Awesome.
So these are the things we love to let people aware of, and tips that can help them cope with worrying and make a change in their lives. Worrying is not bad bad thing in itself, as long as it is realistic, as long as it is helpful, solvable, and productive. However, if it is becoming excessive or irrational, then it can interfere with our happiness and our health.
Something needs to change.
So by applying these tips we have mentioned in this episode, I think you can manage your worry and make positive changes in your life.
Absolutely.
So thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you find it useful and informative. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please feel free to contact us or visit our website at www.skillsmindset.com. One of our team will reach out to you.
And let me just
I would love to hear from you.
Let me just say thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast today. Really enjoyed myself. And
thank you so much.
If you're listening to this podcast, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an episode, because this is going to be powerful. This is a powerful platform for change. And I'm so proud of what you're doing, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. And we would love to have you back at some point. And we know you are very busy, but you've got to depth and wealth of experiences and knowledge that people want to hear.
Why not? Of course.
They want to hear your experience. So
of course. Anytime. Anytime. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, everyone. Until next time, take care, stay positive, and bye for now.